Months now, the left-wing media have allowed Joe Biden to hide. They've done this while ignoring the fact that Bernie Sanders and other socialists in the Democrat Party have taken an increasingly prominent role in his campaign. Biden's handlers know that in order for him to win, he must be viewed as a safe, moderate choice. His handlers also know that given Biden's past arguably racist comments and positions that have hurt minority communities, the Democratic Party must again resort to pandering for minority votes. So you have a convergence of two strategies, making Biden out to be a moderate and pandering for minority votes using none other than Kamala Harris. Harris, a California acolyte of Nancy Pelosi, is the latest prop for Democrats to use in their efforts to pander to minority voters and all Americans. This week, we heard 100 times how Harris is a historic choice. The New York Times and others in the liberal media, of course, trumpeted her non-existing moderate credentials immediately, despite independent rankings that list her among the most far left of senators in the country. The daughter of a Stanford University professor, scientist, and a scientist married to a wealthy California attorney, Kamala Harris has about as much in common with people struggling on the streets of our inner cities as any white liberal California millionaire, so not so much. It's a smokescreen. And if it all sounds familiar to you, it should. Walter Mondale put a woman on the ticket in 1984, expecting the historic nature of that selection to help him obscure the fact that he was running on a platform of raising taxes. Sound familiar? Back in 2008, a gentleman who had been a U.S. Senator for only 18 months ran for president. Media didn't vet him. It was truly going to be a historic moment, the nation's first black president. Many people in this country wanted that story, too. It had the potential to be truly powerful. Many were hopeful that Barack Obama would focus his attention on improving economic mobility, educational opportunities, and the quality of life for inner-city minorities. After all, supposedly doing that was a big focus of the personal story we were sold by the campaign and the liberal press. By any objective measure, however, he and his vice president failed to do any of those things. Similarly, in 2016, we were told, put gender ahead of policy. Hillary Clinton's meager record and decades of swirling questions about political corruption to elect the first woman president. Now, while Biden hides in his basement and reads from note cards, Americans are told to again put someone's race and gender and the supposed history they will make ahead of what they actually believe in. You know, there was a time in this country when choosing a vice presidential running mate was about geographical balance or relevant experience, not about identity politics, intersectionality, or even making history. It was also never about deflecting attention from the nominee. Biden is so weak, so incidental to his own campaign at this point, his left-wing handlers are willing to try to shift attention off of him with a more compelling candidate for vice president. The last time a presidential campaign did that, it only emphasized an enthusiasm gap that had already existed for the top of the ticket. 2008, John McCain was totally overshadowed by a more compelling, more likable, more exciting, and frankly more interesting Governor Palin. Yes, she was a controversial candidate. But when McCain would draw 1,000 people to a rally or a campaign event, Sarah Palin was playing to crowds more than 10 times that size. Make no mistake, Democrats need this campaign to be form over substance, just like they did in 2008 and 2016. They will try to do it with Kamala Harris to distract attention from Biden's erratic behavior. It's a dicey proposition at best. Deflecting attention from Biden will further only weaken a weak candidate even further, not make him more attractive. But at this point, the leftists running Joe Biden's campaign need something more than Joe Biden. It's an act of desperation to help deal with a candidate that they're too afraid to let campaign, and one who, should he win, might not be the one governing anyway.